Hey,
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 well, that worked. All right. Yeah. Okay. Hey,
hey,
hey.
already said that. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show.
Yay.
hey.
My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm an amateur astronomer and the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay.
Hey.
Hey! And first, welcome back my two regular co-hosts, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory
In
in beautiful
Hampton.
Hampton. Hey, Paul.
Hey.
Hey! And Mr. Mike Powell from PFO Observatory here in St. John. Hey, Mike. Hey!
Hey.
Waka 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 waka.
Waka, waka, waka.
All right, on tonight's program, now most of us are familiar with using binoculars for daytime observing, but they are also well suited for enjoying the many treasures the night sky has as well. They should be your first purchase before deciding on a telescope, and they have several advantages. They're lightweight, they're portable, provide correct orientation, and they're reasonably priced. Now tonight we're going to cover the key advantages of binoculars and other optics other optics, how they're perfect for night sky, easy tips to choose the right pair for your needs, and how to actually use them effectively. You get all that in your presentation, Mike?
Sure.
Okay. Mike's also going to be giving us another fine binocular target of the week. Paul will have another interesting Rosanna's fun fact.
I do?
Okay. I'm going to give you a quick look at what to watch for this week, especially on April 1st. Is there something special happening April 1st?
Yeah, 7 centimeters of snow.
Full moon. And something else. Something about going to the
Oh.
moon or something. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a 7 centimeters of snow.
Well,
I think
it
it's
could
an
be
April
too.
Fool's joke.
It could be. Could. Let's
Could
hope
be.
not. Gonna have a look at what to watch for this week and have a look at your wonderful images to share as well. So let's have a go at what's tonight's show going to be, guy. Let's give her,
Let's give her. All right.
Mr.
So
Mr.
Mike's
Powell.
gonna.
We're going to hit the start button here.
There we go.
We should have a nice view.
Hey.
Look around.
we all missed it. Yep.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
got one better than that. Who says astronomers don't get exercise, right?
That's Mike going from his house to his trailer.
That's right. For one weekend. Alrighty.
Oh,
So
boy.
I guess we're going to discuss some binoculars. Binary telescopes. So how do you choose binoculars for astronomy and sky watching? There's lots of variety of binoculars out there to look at and grab. So what are some of the parts right off the bat? Well, you get the manufacturer's plate and name on the back with a model number, and usually it tells you the size of the binoculars themselves are stamped on there, like a 10 by 50 or 17 by or 20 by 50 or 10 by 25 or whatever. Obviously, lens caps come with it like anything else. They have your objective lens on the front. There's a central hinge, and usually there's a 1/4 by 20 hole on the front, so you can use that for mounting them on a tripod somehow with the appropriate binocular mount. They have individual focusing rings versus the eyepieces on the back. There's a central focusing roller. That's because you have a dioptric put on the back of them too, so you focus one eye and then you focus a second eyepiece to get a nice crisp view, and you're pretty much good to go. If you had a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars, just a quick peek in the dark sky, that's what the Andromeda Galaxy would look like. So you can actually see it. So how can you tell the size on a pair of binoculars? Well, normally good pairs are actually marked appropriately on the back. So you see here they get the power, which should be 15x in this particular shot, and then the objective size by 70 millimeters. And that's how they're all labeled, 10 by 50, 15 by 70, and so on. And they should have that marking on them. Now, there might be a few extra things on there, like the 77 meters at 1,000 meters. That's just what's the field of view kind of thing. but we're more interested in the objective and the power usually when we're looking at buying a pair of binoculars. You look around and you say, well, some binoculars are straight through and some binoculars are kind of, bent outwards. And that's because they use different kind of prisms. A normal pair uses what's called a roof prism, or a poro prism. And that's what we're used to, where the light comes in, steps through two prisms, but it actually shifts over and then comes down through the eyepiece. So you're actually, stepping the light over. The other type is a roof prism, which allows the light to come straight through. And it makes the binoculars a little bit smaller. So most binoculars have their main lens spaced wider than their eyepieces, thanks to the poro prisms they are. This makes the binoculars larger. It makes nearly or nearby objects appear three-dimensional. Just give me a second here. Where am I looking? Alrighty.
Yeah, you're muted, Mike.
I was going to say I didn't finish the other one.
There you go.
There we are. However, some binoculars use roof prisms instead of the poro prism, which lets the main lens rest in line with the eyepiece. This actually lowers the image quality a bit, but it does make the binoculars more compact overall. So you end up with a smaller pair. Usually those are your 8x14s or 8x30s or something like that. Mm-hmm. Really good for birding and lightweight if you're out in the woods or moving around with them in your hands all day. Aperture is probably the most important thing. Like anything else that we use, cameras, telescopes, aperture is everything. So the larger the aperture, the better your view is going to be. So for 50 millimeter plus apertures, they offer bright images with high resolution, and they're actually ideal for low light astronomy. While small apertures, 20 to 25 millimeters, that makes the binoculars small and compact and lightweight, but they're more suitable for daytime use. But again, I've seen great views through smaller binoculars, as I have seen great views through big binoculars. But you got to remember too, with aperture comes weight. So the bigger aperture you get, the heavier the binoculars are going to be. And you're going to have to find the ways to mount them because you don't want to be carrying like a 20 by 80 pair in your hands all day and trying to hold those up. You want to mount them on something. Then of course there's magnification. It's all about, how much can I see how much can I zoom in? So binocular magnification represents how many times closer or larger an object appears compared to the naked eye. And that's all it is. When it says 2x, it's double the size. 4x, 4 times the size. Common powers include 8x, which is a stable wide view, and 10x, which is higher detail but a little less stable. So the higher magnification narrows the field of view and reduces the image brightness. But you also have to remember that the higher the magnification, the more sensitive it is to movement. So if you're trying to hold a pair of 20 by 80s and you're shaking, you're going to see that movement in the binoculars. Where if you're holding something like a small poro pair of say 5 by 20s or 5 by 30s, you only get the 5 magnification, but boy, they seem a lot steadier in your hands. So if you do get larger apertures, you get a better view, but you also want to make sure that you mount them on something. Now, holding binoculars, there's actually a right way and a wrong way. Most people, and it's just common habit in nature, grab them back by the eyepiece and pull them up and hold them up in front of your eyes. It's best to hold them out near the end by the objective lens. You get a lot steadier view that way, and you can actually tuck your elbows into your chest if you had to, and you can hold them up and you can look around that way. Or You can mount them on a monopod, a tripod, or a parallelogram mount. Monopods work good for smaller pairs. They're quick and portable. A good tripod. The only problem I've ever found with a tripod is if I go to zenith, my chin hits the tripod. You got to find some way to move the binoculars like a little bit further out without them teetering over. But they work great. And then, of course, a parallelogram mount is the best of them all. You don't even have to touch the binoculars. You just point it, set it, then you just walk up and stick your eyes underneath it. And if you're looking at an object, say like the moon, and a kid comes along, all you have to do is just take the arm and lower it down, and they're still pointed at the moon. So you don't even have to change, they don't have to go looking around the sky for the stuff. You can almost remain locked on target, which is pretty good for a parallelogram mount, and they work great for larger binoculars. Now, here's my favorite. If you want to get creative and comfortable, these are homemade. Somebody's got the bright idea, take a lawn chair, figure out a way to lay it back, hook a pair of binoculars to it, virtually hands-free, and you get to sit back nice and comfortable and look at the night sky all night. You can spin around, and everything you see with a go-to scope, you see with a lawn chair, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what can I see? Well, I'll just quickly, objects that are visible in 7x50s, you get all 7 planets, actually 8 because you get the Earth too. Several galaxies, over 100,000 stars. You just look up into the Milky Way with a pair of binoculars, it'll blow you away. Dozens of double stars, dozens of star clusters, lots of nebula. You won't see the color in the nebula, but you'll see the dust lines. The moons of Jupiter, no problem at all with a larger pair. Star clouds and dark nebula in the Milky Way, beautiful sights. And of course, lots and lots of lunar objects. Speaking of lunar objects, there's the moon in a pair of 10x50s, which is the average pair of binoculars that people buy to accent their astronomy gear. And 10x50s you can buy for, on sale, 69, 70 bucks, sometimes Canadian Tire, and they're good. The advantage to binoculars, I've never seen the whole Pleiades cluster ever in a telescope, but I've seen the whole Pleiades cluster in a pair of binoculars. Right? You can look at Orion. It's a gorgeous sight in a pair of binoculars. I mean, yeah, it's not like taking a camera shot, but hey, it still looks beautiful in a pair of binoculars. And now, yes, they are out. The infamous smart binoculars.
Oh.
Now you can buy binoculars just like the smart telescopes. When you look through them, it knows your area. It will point out and label the peaks of mountains and valleys and rivers, trails, and at night it will point out the objects that you're looking at in the sky. So it'll name the stars for you. It'll name the planets. It'll name the moon, of course, comets and asteroids. You can update the firmware, and it'll tell you what the comet names and stuff are while you're looking at them.
Yes, sir.
So it's crazy. But yes, it was inevitable with the smart telescopes coming out. Now there are smart binoculars. Now, I was impressed because this pair runs roughly 500 bucks. But when you're looking at the technology inside them, something, they might be worth that. I don't think they're made for imaging, but who knows, down the road, you might be able to just hook a USB-C cable to it and run it into a thing, and there'll be a button, you take a picture, who knows. But they're just hitting the market now, these smart binoculars. So, binoculars are always a good choice to have. The problem is you can't use them very well when you're running like that. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that for now.
Oh, man. Professor Mike.
Awesome, Mike.
What can you do, right?
That's very cool.
So those.
So Unistellar make those.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're very, very cool. The ones they make are $1,500, but there are some lesser expensive ones, of course.
Yeah, like anything else.
Yeah.
But still, that's pretty cool. And the rim is stabilized as well, which
Stabilized, yeah. That would
makes
make
it a lot easier.
I wonder if you had your druthers, and then Mike, you probably could make this with your printer. But if you were able to take your cell phone and then put it on a pair of binoculars, and then have the phone turn on one of the apps that talk to you, like the Sky Portal. You'd be able to do that with binoculars too, wouldn't
I
you?
think you mount it on. I think you mount it on top rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
an
Just mount it
eyepiece.
on top
Yeah,
of the binoculars,
yeah,
right? And then have your phone lined up with the glass. So whatever you're looking at,
yeah,
your phone would be looking at. Then you could just
yeah,
push the button and say, "Oh, that's what that is."
yeah. I think you can do that now with the Sky Portal app
Yeah,
and a proper phone mount on the binoculars. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Tim has something like that, doesn't he, with the glasses? Tim Doucette? Glasses.
yeah,
When
maybe,
you look up at the sky,
Yeah,
it draws the constellation for you when you're wherever you're looking.
yeah.
no.
The technology is getting really, really
Oh,
awesome.
it is. Yeah. A
Yeah.
couple of comments here. Mark Ficken says, my favorite all-time binoculars were the Fujinon FMT SX 16 by 70. What a view, he says. 16 by 70.
16 by 70.
Mm.
That's a nice
Yeah.
magnification, 16x.
Yeah, there's some nice stuff out there.
And Mark says, my teleview will show the whole Pleiades, Mike.
Oh, will it? Okay. You must have a reducer on it, I'm be guessing, but I've just never seen it. That's all.
Chris Baldick says, I have a pair of premium Fujinon 8 by 50s. Just a second, trying to get to the comments now. The optics were, it keeps scrolling too quickly on me. The optics were fantastic, but they were heavy. Any best used on a tripod. Then, hang on. Then I upgraded to a pair of Canon 10 by 30 image stabilized binoculars. The optics weren't quite as good, but I could see so much more.
Yeah.
Awesome. So those parallelogram mounts, Mike, where can you get those? Are they
I actually just
readily available?
I built mine. I went on to grabbed a few pieces of 2x1 hardwood from Home Depot,
Okay.
and you can download the plans online for free. And I used as a counterweight. My son had a little set of dumbbells, and I grabbed
Okay.
I think a 2 pound dumbbell, and that's what I stuck on the end of it
Yeah. Yeah.
for a counterweight. But they're very simple to make. I've seen the guys actually. You've seen the lights that you can bolt to your desk, and you can bring the light down and over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The scissor arms. I've seen people mount them on those, like small pair.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, I got one here.
yeah,
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
modification of the hammer, you can pretty much do anything. So
You know, when you think about what it costs to buy a telescope, right?
Hmm.
You know, a telescope, and then you got to put it on a tripod and all that stuff. You know, to spend $500, $600, $700 to outfit yourself is not a lot of money.
no, it's a
You
joke.
get good optics for your binoculars, and then I'm just looking at a parallelogram, which is a really nice one from Con Telescope,
Yeah.
$429 Canadian,
Yeah.
and yeah, there you go. So you've got that capability to sit back and, you know, you just put a lazy Susan under your chair and
Yeah.
just have everything connected to it, and away you go.
There was one on there, like Mike showed there with the chair. I was going to bring that plan up, it didn't. But anyway, it was it had a bike wheel, a
Yes,
bicycle wheel. And he had it
Yeah.
attached to the side, so he's using the bicycle wheel to spin himself around.
the turn. Yeah,
Yeah,
It was
oh,
pretty
it's
cool.
amazing.
The stuff that people come up with. Yeah, I mean, binoculars are your best bet. I'm losing a monitor here; it keeps flashing off and on me. Binoculars are your best bet for your first optics, right?
Yeah,
Excuse me. Most of us have a couple or three or four pair. You know, I keep a couple of pair usually for outreach. So if I'm
Yeah.
at an outreach event, I'll have a couple of pairs sitting on a table now and just let people pick them up and take a look at the Milky Way and stuff. But like Mike says, they're two telescopes joined together. They're the easiest optics really to use at all.
yeah.
One
Focus
thing-
real easy.
Yeah, one thing about focus that we didn't talk about when Paul was mentioning that was a diopter. So these are my 15 by 70s. These are Canadian Tire set of Celestrons, right? And I've had them for, I don't know, 20 years, I guess now. They give you a great view of the night sky, but they're very heavy to hold. So, when you're sitting down, like Mike says, you got to hold them this way and that way as far as you can. Or you mount them on a tripod with the spot here you can mount the little bar that comes down onto your tripod. But as far as focusing, that's one thing that we have to look at. So you got a wheel here, a thumb wheel in the center, and then you've got another one here called the diopter, which is usually on your right eyeball. So you want to bring them into focus, so you hold them up to your eyes. In my case, well, I'm not a good one to demonstrate this because I can never get the two images to combine to one. I just can't do it for whatever reason. And we've talked about bino viewers for telescopes before. I've tried to look through them.
Yeah.
These guys are saying, "Oh my God, look at the view of the moon," and I look through and stuff. Okay, still looks like a flat moon, like a flat Earth. But for me, they're a bit more difficult. But anyway, what you do is you close your right eye and open your left eye, and then adjust your diopter, or adjust your center wheel, so that your
Yeah.
left eye is in focus. Now, once you get your left eye in focus, you close your left eye, open your right eye, and you turn the diopter, this one. And now you've got
focused.
return. Now you've got them both in focus. And they're all set up like that. This one's these are the 10 by 50s the same way. The diopter's on the end of the. So you'll find that one of your eyepieces will rotate and the other one will be fixed. And that's how you adjust them for focus. Because all of us have different eyeballs, of course. Some can see 3D, some can't.
Yeah.
Yep. And I do. I mean, watch for these at places like Canadian Tire. They're not they're not great, not image stabilized or anything like that, but they are a great start.
Yeah.
Both are really a great start. These are the other Canadian Tire ones, 10 by 50s. I think I got them for $45. And the thing about them is,
I think pretty much everybody has a pair. If you got a telescope, you got a pair of 10 by 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're easy to carry with you. Like you can leave them in the car all the time. And if you use them in the daytime, because they're great for daytime viewing as well. And if you just want to find a patch of sky, you're trying to learn the sky. Okay, well, he talked about Orion the other. Where's Orion at? And you take it, ponder over, or that little cluster that they call the Pleiades, and that through binoculars is just awesome. Like it's the best view really for wide angle or for wide view options out there. Then binoculars are your best tool for sure. Paul.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to cover just two things real quickly. So the key advantages of binoculars for astronomy, of course, is the wide field of view. That's the biggest thing, right? Because usually most telescopes, unless they're very short telescopes, like even the focal lengths they use on smart scopes, or they're just the little finder scopes we use on our telescopes, some of those are pretty much the same as binocular view, really. But anyway, unlike telescopes, which have a narrow magnified view, the binoculars show a broader portion of the sky, and you get to use both eyes with them instead of one. So it's a nice stereo view. So it's really quite spatial, almost more 3D looking than looking at just one thing with one eye. They're portable, of course, which makes them convenient. A two-eye viewing, they call it stereoscopic or stereoscopic. And you get, again, that 3D sense. It's the correct orientation. So when you look up in the sky and look at the moon is the same orientation that it is in the sky. Whereas telescopes may flip it around or turn it upside down or all that kind of stuff. So you'll always get the real view. So it's easier to find things. So if you're looking for, say, the double cluster or something, and you're looking for a specific orientation, because that's what your star map says at this time of year it's in, that's the way you'll see it in binoculars. They're affordable, of course, and they're better for bright, large targets. Mike already mentioned that. And they're versatile. Now, that's the kind of the almost the common sense stuff, and they're great in the daytime. So if you have planned a weekend away, and you're up at a campground and you're doing a star party weekend, and you get clouds, and then all of a sudden, what are you going to do in the nighttime? Well, you got your binoculars for the daytime to go out and do some birding or do some viewing and all that kind of stuff. So they're good for daytime and nighttime. So unlike a telescope, really, you're not going to drag a telescope around to do birding. Most people don't anyway. But here's the cool thing. I want to show you this. This is like super cool. So Mike put his, we talked about putting his, I'll pull this back a bit so you can see it better. Talked about putting his binoculars on a mount like this to stabilize a photo or stabilize your image so that when you're looking up at the sky, with mine I put it on a ball head. So of course with a ball head you can go straight up, straight down, wherever you want to put it. You've got total control over that. So if you are using your favorite tripod, and a ball head will work very, very nicely. But what's even more cool than that is this. You can buy that XYZ thing everybody uses. I'll put that a little closer now so you can see it. Everybody uses to to hook onto their cameras, to hook their camera phone onto a telescope to get pictures of the moon or whatever. Well, you know what? You can do it with binoculars. And so all you do is you take your XYZ phone adapter, and am I just the three of us on the screen, or am I pinned, Chris? Do you know?
No, the three of us. Just a sec. I'll try to pin you. Here you go.
Okay. So so in any event, so you have this XYZ thing right on the eyepiece. So then you just take your phone and you pull your phone out, drop it into the case, and then you just go ahead and line up your phone to the part of the eyepiece you want to use, and then you can go ahead and take photos with it. So I thought to myself, you know, we can talk about this, but I'm going to go out and take a picture and see what it actually looks like. So I'm going to share a photo that I took with it just this afternoon, just to see what it would look like. So just give me a second. I'm going to bring up the photo, then I'll share my screen. There we go. No, grab the wrong one. There we are. Now I'll share my screen. I'm going to get that big again.
Hang on, Paul, because I don't know if I'm going to get to see.
Got to unpin them, or?
Yeah, I got to try to. Hang on.
What's going on?
I got to. No, I don't have to unpin you. No, you're good. Okay.
Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, so that's my cell phone looking at my weather thingy out in the back through the binoculars, and I just took a quick snap of it. And that's not magnifying. Now, the other night, I went out with my 6-inch or 8-inch Dobsonian, and it's a 6-inch? 6-inch. 6-inch Dobsonian, and I put it in the backyard, and I put this onto the same thing. I put the phone thing on it, and I got the moon, and I always shot the moon. You know, there you go, there's the full moon, blah, blah, blah. But what I didn't realize was you could actually zoom in and look at very specific features on the moon. And so you can see them sharp in your eye. You can see them just as sharp on your phone. So I started snapping a bunch of pictures. So if you've got binoculars and you want to do astrophotography, you can do it. You just basically pick bright targets. Go ahead and get it all set up and lined up. Get it focused relatively decently, and then the focus on your phone will take care of the rest of it. You just simply hit your focus button, and it really does a good job of bringing it into focus. And then you can fire away all night long and get amazing photos. I even got Jupiter on my cell phone through my telescope. It was just unbelievable. But when you're using binoculars, basically, I'm just going to stop sharing here. There we go. So when you're using binoculars, basically you're just doing what I'm doing right here. Just get one of those XYZ things. They're like $79 a Canadian Tire. Throw your phone into it. If you've already got the binoculars, you're ready for astrophotography.
Yep. Ideal. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's it.
Awesome. Somebody mentioned that that volume was low. Does anybody else? Maybe if you can comment, let us know if they're having trouble with the volume.
Was mine low? I might have backed off from my mic.
No, I wasn't sure whether it's you or me. Dave mentioned it here. I haven't heard back from him yet. So don't.
Yeah, because I backed off to show that.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. But anyway, well, Anyway, binoculars. Get a pair.
Yes.
You know, before you buy a telescope, really, before you buy a telescope, you should get a pair of binoculars and sit outside. Hang on, I gotta stop. Unpin you, Paul.
Let's say, even if you got a pair of telescope, buy a pair of binoculars.
yeah. But even before you buy a telescope, get a pair of binoculars and. Okay, I can hear.
Oh! Speaking of which, though, I would want to mention this, and you just brought it to my mind. When you buy really good binoculars, you won't get maybe a little, maybe not that halo around the moon, which is the chromatic aberration. On the cheaper binoculars, when you're looking at the moon, something really bright, you might get that little bit of a color around it. Usually it's purple or blue or sometimes green. And anyway, so that's just chromatic aberration that's on there. So when you buy your binoculars, just even if you're looking through them in the store, look at a really bright light and find a light that's got an edge on it, and just to see if you can see that ring. If that color is really bad, then that's really bad chromatic aberration. Just grab another pair and see, because they're not all the same. They may say they're all manufactured the same, but sometimes you'll get a really bad pair, and so just make sure you have a look at a few and pick out ones that got decent glass in them.
And like you say, if it's possible, always good to check them out in the store while you're there and find out. Yeah, rather than I mean, online you can, yes, of course, but it's a little more difficult to send them back. Oh,
exactly. Yeah. Plus, you get to hold them and feel them and to see how they work and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I just lost my second monitor. Well, one's been blinking since the show started. The second one just started now, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's great. And well, I lost my monitor again, and maybe my card might be overheating.
My phone back.
I'm going to get Mike to go ahead, because Mike's going to talk about binocular target of the week, and I'm sure. Why didn't you mention that? Like, all the Bino Buds targets are all good targets.
That's a secret.
I'm going to turn my video off for a sec and just try something. Go ahead, guys.
You want Bino Bud?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll get that part up. And share. Get this part up. Hopefully we see Bino Bud with his binoculars.
Here he is.
He's there.
There he is. Almost see through.
We see him.
Binocular target of the week with Bino Bud this week is NGC 2403 or
Nice.
Caldwell 7. It's one of the few galaxies I like with binoculars.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
So NGC 2403, known as Caldwell 7, is an intermediate spiral galaxy in the constellation Camelopardalis. It took me all day to pronounce that. And it's an outlying member of M81 group and approximately 8 million light years distant. It bears a similarity to M33 in size and look, actually, and being about 50,000 light years in diameter and containing numerous star-forming areas. The northern spiral arm connects to the star-forming region of NGC 2404, and of course, because it's one of my binocular targets, it can be seen with a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars pretty easily. So how would I find it in the sky? Well, I think we're going to be clear. It's not going to cloud in tonight. You might be able to get out there, but at 9:30, step outside, look exactly due north, look up at 45 degrees, and you'll see the Polaris. Keep on going almost exactly 90 degrees straight up, and C7 is going to be right above your head, actually. Now, how I find it is everybody knows the Big Dipper, and everybody knows how if you look at the bowl of the Big Dipper here, and you grab these two stars on a diagonal, it takes you to M81 and M82. Well, continue that out to the second bowl, and take those two stars on a diagonal, it takes it directly out to C7. So it's actually pretty easy. A little closer look. Like I said, take the star here is off the screen, but at the diagonal of those two, it'll come right out and it'll almost bring you to C7. So it's actually not that difficult to find. What you'll see won't quite look like this because you won't see the nice star spikes and stuff in your binoculars. Or I haven't seen them yet in a pair of binoculars. Anyway, you do get a nice spiral galaxy. Not as quite as big and pretty as Andromeda, it's still there. But you will see these three bright stars at the top and the two bright stars to the side. I've actually equated it to a hockey stick where it's coming down and bent over, and that's the puck.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe next year I'll name it the hockey stick or something like that. And 10 by 50 binoculars, there you go. You can count those three stars coming down. Look at that. You get the galaxy right in the middle. And again, it kind of looks like a hockey stick shooting the puck.
Yes, sir.
But you'll spot those, probably these bright stars first, and then the smudge, and then you know you're on it. Compared to the full moon, the whole thing with the stars included is probably the size of the full moon, and the galaxy is probably about slightly less than half. But it is a nice target to look at, easy to find, because like I said, it's going to be virtually straight up. Might be uncomfortable for the first few minutes to look at because you got to twist your neck, but when you get on it, you'll like it. Are you ready for this one? How many ears does Captain Kirk have? 3, a left ear, a right ear, and a final front ear.
Thank God for AI, Mike. Eh? Wow, you're going to be making cartoons.
That's binocular tag of the week by Bud. Final front ear.
Oh man,
When you
that's
started with
irritating.
when you started with Napoleon's hat, I know we were heading in the direction.
That's too funny. Holy smokes!
All right. Thanks, Mike. Another great target.
I got an itchy ear.
Oh man, that's final.
All right.
Can't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Paul, would you like to start out with a
Yeah,
Rosanna's
I
fun
can't
fact?
get that vision out of my head now. All right, let's see. I got to share my screen one more time.
Leave it to you, Mike.
All right, let's move along right here to another. Can you hear it?
Yep.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Yay! Welcome back, Rosanna, to another wonderful fun fact. Let's jump right in. So Rosanna writes, "Hi, Paul. Aaron Sousa of the Canadian Press put out an article of good news on March the 20th. Now I'm going to get right into my photos right away. And just hang on a sec. That picture comes up. There we go. Ta-da! The NASA Artemis II rocket with the Orion spacecraft above leaves the Vehicle Assembly Building, or the VAB, moving slowly to Pad 39B at the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, Friday, March the 20th, 2026. Now, the Artemis II rocket, that's to carry Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen around the moon, has made its way to the launch pad ahead of its planned April blastoff. NASA says it took 11 hours for the 322-foot or 98-meter rocket and its accompanying Orion spacecraft to travel 4 miles or about 6 kilometers from the Vehicle Assembly Building at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The mission has been delayed a few times since February due to hydrogen fuel leaks and helium flow problems, but start your countdown, counting the days, that's it, as it's scheduled to launch on April the 1st, unless, and here it comes, unless. This is some sort of April Fool's joke by NASA, who can forget their prank announcement of water on Mars on April 1st, 2005. A cool fun fact regarding Hansen: Jeremy hails from London, Ontario, and will serve as mission specialist during the Artemis II mission, becoming the first non-American to travel beyond low Earth orbit. Looking forward to launch day will definitely help us get through our less than inspiring weather to the first day of April. The launch window is around 6 days long, so fingers, eyes, and toes are crossed that it remains a go. Now, sometimes I wish, a wish was an April Fool's joke, was the news that on March the 13th, FCC accepted for filing an application by StarCloud, a company based in Redmond, Washington, to operate as many as 88,000 satellites in the range of low Earth orbits to serve as orbitable data centers for artificial intelligence and other applications. Wow. StarCloud's big idea is to place a network of megawatt-scale computer servers in Earth orbit, powered by grids of solar panels that could stretch as much as 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers in width. So these aren't small little riggies anymore. The filing provides few details about the satellites themselves, such as their size and mass. I did find out that a demonstrator satellite weighing 132 pounds is destined to be launched into low Earth orbit this summer by SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket as part of the Bandwagon 4 rideshare mission. The satellites will operate in a select set of narrow orbit shells up to 50 kilometers thick at altitudes between 600 and 850 kilometers. Those satellites will be in a dusk to dawn sun synchronous orbits to enable near continuous power generation from the sun. So, does the idea sound familiar? According to GeekWire, StarCloud is the new name for Lumen Orbit. Through the name change, Lumen Orbit managed to raise additional $10 million, bringing its seed money up to $21 million. Currently, they are only 5 employees, but they hope to double their staff. The job openings are posted on their website. Now, stargazers are already inundated with satellites. There are over 10,000 currently, which is hard to imagine considering that before 1957, there were none in the sky. This photo combines numerous photos taken over 30 minutes to illustrate the number of satellite streaks that can appear.
Oh, wow.
So there's the core of the Milky Way. So this is looking due south, and there's your lovely view of all those satellites. In North America, we tend to think of white light as being a sign of good versus evil. Let's flip that and head to the dark side. Speaking of dark, out of 7,913 project planets listed on the TESS Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite site, there are some real rare beauties. They might be hard to see, especially this one. Now, TRES-2b, also known as Kepler-1b, is an extrasolar planet orbiting the star GSC 0359402811, located 750 light years away from the solar system. The planet was identified in 2011 as the darkest known exoplanet, reflecting less than 1% of any light that hits it. Reflecting less light than charcoal on the surface, the planet is said to be pitch black, although it does emit dim red glow due to its temperature. Now, this is an AI rendition, but in truth, we wouldn't even see that much. So how does one draw something that is blacker than the darkest, most saturated black paint on Earth? The planet's mass and radius indicate that it's a gas giant with a bulk composition similar to that of Jupiter, unlike Jupiter, but similar to many planets detected around other stars. TRES-2b is located very close to its star, which can be a factor in absorption of light. It belongs to the class of planets known as the hot Jupiters. Hot Jupiters hot Jupiters shouted, could catch on just like leaping lizards. Light-absorbing planets can be identified by their albedo. Now I'm going to see, I think this may be the next photo. There we go. A measure of how much sunlight a planet reflects. Albedo is an important concept in planetary science. A high albedo means that the planet reflects most of the incoming light, while a low albedo indicates that very little light is reflected, meaning that planet absorbs much of the incoming energy. And there are some examples of some of those here. So you can see Earth is considered low albedo, and Venus is highly reflective at 70%, and the Moon, dark surface, absorbent sunlight, only at 12%. Very interesting. So TRES-2b is not the only black planet out there, and the list is growing. These black planets challenge our previous knowledge of how planets should behave or what they are made up of, which is exciting. Definitely, I have joined the Black Planet fan club. Of course, that could also mean I'm a fan of the Social Network or a fan of the Sisters of Mercy, an English rock band from the 80s whose song Black Planet has a great vibe. The song from 1985 encapsulates a period of anxiety, political turmoil, and environmental decay, transcending mere melodrama to becoming a haunted statement of human folly. 1985? It sounds pretty current to me. When I clicked the link to check out the movie The Black Planet made in 1981-82, the link took me to this site. Now, I don't think there's a site that I can show you on here. Yeah, yeah, there it goes. Nothing to see here. Well, I did expect we are talking about black planets.
Waka waka, yeah.
Waka waka, and that was this week's. Hold on now, I gotta find you again. There she is.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Ah, there we are.
Well, she finds some
How
interesting
interesting
topics.
is that stuff, hey?
Try to find a planet. Yeah, I mean, it's like trying to find a black hole in space, I guess. I mean, in that way, stars are gravitating around it, but to find a
Yeah.
planet, a
You'd,
black
you'd
planet,
have to really almost sort of come across it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? When you're trying to find something that dim and that dark.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The scary part about those satellites too, like I'd read up a bit about it this week. You know, with over 10,000 up there right now, and well, yeah, because 2,000 have already come back down to the Starlink
Yeah.
satellites. But
Yeah.
they release, but they're one of their main elements is aluminum. That's how they're made out of aluminum. And when
Yeah.
they burn up on the way through, they release aluminum oxide. And aluminum oxide can destroy the ozone layer.
Yeah.
And they expect by in the next 5 years there could be up to 360 tons of aluminum oxide deposited in our atmosphere from these burn up of satellites. 646% increase over the natural levels. So that's
So,
another concern because he does continually replace the ones that are up there, right?
so who's policing that?
FCC, as far as I know, is the only ones they're the ones that approved it.
Yeah. So if they're getting their palms greased to let all this stuff go on, who's actually researching that part of the fallout? Really,
Well,
that's really what it is.
there's that company. There's Reflect Orbital, who's trying to put up these large mirrors, basically,
Yeah.
and they would light part of the ground. And I think the smallest area they can get right now is a 1 kilometer area. They haven't done it yet, but they're this test. But they would light you up. So if you're in an area where you're a farmer in the field and you want to pay to have light issued at your, or say you have a hurricane and power's out, and you want to
Yeah.
light up an area for emergency kind of thing. But if you're just wanted to light up your place, anybody within that 1 kilometer radius is also going to be lit up. So that's like
Yeah.
trespassing to your property, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. We're heading that direction, and there's
Yeah.
and Elon Musk wants to put up a million of satellites, new ones, to make his data center concept
Yeah.
work, right? Another
Well,
million.
even looking at that photo, like that's not out of touch with reality.
No,
I've seen just even in my own imaging, how many trails are in my FITS files before I stack them and get rid of all of them.
yeah,
And sometimes I'll see something like 30 easily just in a 3-minute shot,
yeah.
right? In a small part of the sky, very small.
I had wondered whether it affects astronomers that are trying to find exoplanets, because like the way we find a lot of them is that we look at a star and we see the light
See
dim,
the dip, the change in it,
right,
yeah.
right, and we wait until it happens again, and we know the orbit of it, and then we know how much light has absorbed, and then we know what the atmosphere is, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
maybe it was a satellite that passed through the shot at the same time. So would they have to track every satellite?
Yeah.
To go back and take a look at what was in
Yeah.
the air. It's just
It would be extra work for them to verify that, because if they didn't know what the cycle was to begin with,
yeah.
right, then all of a sudden it goes blinky.
No.
So
Yeah.
now I got to figure. Okay, now I got to figure out where was that satellite, when did it pass through, and it's just a
Time.
bunch of stuff to do, right?
Times a million. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. Wow.
Maybe we're going to be in space. Maybe our telescopes are going to be based in space. That's going to be it eventually. But anyway,
Yeah,
not
we'll
a
have
good
to go to
sign.
space to get outside of it.
Yeah, basically. All right. Let me go to some photos then. That's up for me next. I guess I'm
Yeah.
gonna put our audience into a transition mode here for a second. I'm gonna open up my folder. Wrong folder. Let's try this folder. There we go. Photos are over here. And we start with this one and see where they come up. They come up over here. Perfect. Okay. So let me share the screen, guys. First of all, for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Share buttons here. I think it's this one. Okay, let's take it back to our audience again. There we go. That should be up.
Now there. So you know what that is? That's chromatic aberration.
Uh, oh,
All right, Trish, you'll have to deal with that one with Mike or with Paul.
oh,
Yike. Okay, well, Trish says, hi, Chris. He said, I captured this photo in my front yard, March the 27th at around 5 p.m. And I thought it was very interesting. I stopped to look at the moon, and I was excited to see that I could get crows enjoying it too. For me, it emphasizes that we should stop for a moment and enjoy nature and see what you can see. Taken with my iPhone, she says, no edits. So cool.
Nice capture.
Nice capture.
Yep.
Crowing at the moon. Thanks, Trish. All right.
That's for a good cause.
Oh, I gotta move on because he's gonna keep going.
yeah.
He's wound up now. Okay, let's go from there to this one from Robert Carson. Robert sent these in. He says, hi, Chris. Here's a couple of shots from March 25th. First is my first quarter moon shot. Then what I posted on my Facebook page, these may be difficult to see, he says, but I see that's looking pretty good.
Well, it's not hard to see the first
That's
quarter
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going a little more, there's the X.
There's the X. Hey, there's
Yeah, there's a V.
Yeah, there it
There's
is.
the V
You
up
got
there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got him.
It. You got it.
Cool. Good stuff. Extra points for that one, Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And this one here from NGC 4274.
That's there.
Nice stuff.
Oh, look at that. There's a couple of
Sea-star.
things going on there, eh?
Big galaxies in there, yeah.
And here's the ones that he had.
There it is,
shots.
4314.
Two,
Wow.
3, 4, 5, 6, 6 galaxies. Yeah.
And he's got some other ones that he circled.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wonder what direction he's shooting there, maybe between Leo and Virgo.
Tis the season for the galaxies.
It is. Thank you for those, Robert. We're still to say, okay, yeah. He said March 25th, my first quarter moon in multiple galaxies in the area of NGC 4274 in Coma Berenice, so he is in that area. Only 52 minutes of integration, 20-second subs before the clouds rolled in. And he said thanks for pointing out the area. So there you go.
Yeah,
Get down.
very nice.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go over to Jason Overt's picture here. I was able to get a shot last evening. He said around dusk and still capture the X and the V Easter eggs.
You got him.
Right there, you
Yeah,
got them there.
well,
One,
that's
two,
right
there. Yep.
There's they are, both of them. Yep. Look at that.
That's cool. Nice. Thanks for the helpful tips, he said, and information. You bet. Happy to help,
Right on.
Jason. So good stuff. This one came from Helen Legassi. She said, "This is my half last night at Mount Carleton Park." So
Oh,
you're at Mount
nice.
Carleton. Hey, cool.
Hey.
Hey, Helen. Helen, thank you.
It'd be chilly up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sylvie Terrio, she said that reminder for me that I captured the letter X, or what is called the Werner X, almost 9 years ago on April 3rd, 2017. I was using my Canon T4i tethered to a Celestron Nexstar 8SE. Here's my photo, she said, and added a blue arrow to show where it was at that date. But then I sent her back a picture and said, well, here's your yellow arrow because here's your V too. So,
Right.
but yeah,
Wow,
good stuff.
eh?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Well done.
Canon T4i.
That's nice and
Celestron
sharp.
Nexstar. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Well, what was it, 8 inch? 8 inch?
8-inch Celestar 8 SE. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Wow.
It's nice when you get that kind of focal length, you can really start seeing the detail.
Yeah.
Plus with that aperture too, 8 inches is nice.
Yeah. Awesome.
Very nice.
The collimation's bang on.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks,
that's
Silly.
awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Go from there over to Bob Simmons' captures here. Got he said I caught the Lunar X in V2. You did so. Lots of people
So,
got that.
there's the X.
There's the V.
And there's the V.
Good stuff.
There you
Yeah.
Also, Bob sent this one. M81 Boats Galaxy and M82 the Cigar Galaxy with the Dwarf 3, 7 hours. He said Astro Filter and Bortle 4 Skies.
Look
There
at
you
that,
go.
eh?
Nicely done. Yeah, love that.
go.
What's
Not
that
far
picture?
from that is C7.
Yeah,
That boat really pops out nicely, doesn't it?
It
does,
does,
yeah.
The arms.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Nice job.
cool. Good job. Go over to the California Nebula. This is another one I got from him. Dwarf
That's
3
pretty.
telescope. That's 10 and a half hours of 13. I graphed the subs in serial and excluded those with the worst star around us, and FWHM from the final stack. SHO palette, EQ mode, DB filter, Bordeaux 4 Skies.
Yeah. You put the time in, you can get some detail out, eh?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
Colorful, very colorful.
Yep.
Thanks, Bob. And final one I think I got here goes to Cassiopeia from Bob as well. No, got one more after this. Door 3, EQ mode, 13 hours of 60-second subs. Call to 11 hours of the best subs. DB filter and border four skies again.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done.
Look at the main star. Look at all the little stars in and around it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy how much is up there.
Oh, it's just really neat to see all those little tiny stars in and around. It's not that they're gravitationally bound to that one, but it's just neat to look at them that way. That's all. Anyway,
Nice
good job.
done. Good job, Bob. And finally, his capture of the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades.
Oh, that's pretty.
Subaru in Japan, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Door 3.
can even see the color difference in the cloud when that's shot nicely. That cloud on the right, right where your mouse is, that's actually got more of a brownish beigeish tint to it.
Okay.
And when you get enough time on, and I can start to see it in that one there, so that's
Yeah.
good job on that.
Yeah. Dwarf 3 EQ mode, DB filter, 4 hours at 1 minute images. Mortal 4 skies again, so cool. I love that. I love that little cluster.
Oh,
Gotta be
yeah,
one of my
who doesn't
favorites.
love that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Bob. All right, I'm going to move over to David Samard because David, you had asked Paul to see some shots of what could be seen with the Sea Star. What if the Sea Star could capture some galaxies? So I got a few shots here. These couple over here aren't labeled, but I'm going to move on to the ones that are labeled too. So here's some with different galaxies. Here's one here.
Wow, look at
The,
that. There's the hockey stick by the looks of it, is it?
the whale galaxy, he says.
There's whale galaxy, but if you go down to the bottom, yeah, right there.
Right there. Yeah. Yeah.
That might.
Might be.
I thought that was the hockey stick one too. I could be wrong. But anyway, he got them both.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
he did. And move on
Beautiful.
to some other ones he sent in. Here's the NGC 4559, 39
Yes, sir.
minutes.
Oh,
Here's one.
oh yeah,
NGC,
the Leo triplet
NGC 36.
with all his friends.
Yeah, yeah. That's with the dwarf too. He says.
Wow.
Here's NGC 2683, an hour or 3 hours and 45 minutes capture.
I really like what he's getting for the softness on the stars. The stars have a really nice soft edge to them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Here's one of the
Oh,
M108.
look at that.
Well, they're starting to pull the eyes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The galaxy right up above it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
They did one
I
too.
can do, this one is the Bode's Galaxy pair.
Yep.
7 minutes 30 seconds. And another one here. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Is that the same one? I wonder that was we saw earlier in color.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
You
okay.
just cropped it. Yeah. So good job,
Oh, okay.
Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending those in. Yeah,
Nice work. Wow.
nice work. Mr. Powell, I showed you already, but here's your capture of the VNX, eh?
Yeah,
job, Mike.
everybody
There
was
it
getting
is.
it, so I just had to, like anybody else, get a shot of
Yeah.
her.
That's good. Lots of response back.
Yes, sir.
And your shot the other night with the mineral moon.
She's getting fuller. Oh, there it
Yes,
is.
yeah.
There's the
Yes,
mineral.
Yeah, I'd never get tired of that view.
like that view, yeah.
I'm starting to get a lot of questions on how you get mineral out of it.
You should
Yeah.
do a little thing on it, Mike.
My answer is I get
Show
lucky.
how to do it.
Yeah.
My answer is I get very lucky.
It's just
this
nice
one-
because it would. Yeah.
in this one with your straight wall, yeah. So
Yeah,
Cut
well,
that.
you said the straight wall was out, so I had to take a
Yeah,
peek and get her.
caught that the other night in the live feed, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to look really hard at it on the live feed, but found it later. Yeah, cool. So yeah, that's just a feature of light and shadows on the moon. It's really not a cliff at all. It looks like a cliff, but it's just actually it's just kind of a gentle slope, about 110 kilometers long, about 3 kilometers wide. But just the way that the sunlight is hitting it on an angle coming in this
Yeah.
way, it gives it that view. So you don't see that on the other side when it comes back. So, and I think where am I going? Now this one, yeah. So here's one, Mr. Owen.
Oh, is that mine?
That's the one you got with your cell phone.
Oh
the
yeah.
cell phone
yeah.
on your dub, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Back out for a second. I want to show you another feature.
Okay.
Besides those three little craters,
Mhm.
can you see the lunar S?
Lunar S.
Yep.
Here?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Oh, it could be an S. Whereabouts?
I can't point your mouse, but
Yeah.
see the middle crater
This one?
in the three.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop your mouse down
Yeah.
to the crater just below. Yeah, and right there, look at that. That's if that Terminator was just a little bit more toward those craters, that looks
Okay.
like the letter S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take
Anyway.
your word for it. Anyway, we'll catch you. We'll catch you next month.
Anyway, this is interesting
Yeah.
because look at the mountain peak in the center of that crater, of the one in the bottom of the three.
Yeah.
And this was just taken an 8-inch Dobsonian, and this was still Wide's blues because it was still daylight.
Right.
And so you take the 8-inch Dobsonian, you take that XYZ thing we talked about earlier that we hooked up to the binoculars. I put it on my telescope, and I just threw my phone on it, and I pinched my phone, and I started to spread to zoom in, and it didn't break down at all. I couldn't believe the detail that you can get. And I didn't even let my optics cool 100%, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so for those who have a telescope and a phone, get one of those XYZ adapters, and you could take photos and do some pretty cool stuff with it.
Yeah. Agreed. Like this one too.
Yeah, there you
shot.
go.
Yeah.
And again, you can really start to see like the central mountain peaks
Yeah.
in those craters. You can even start to see some of the terrace on the
The
walls.
other ones too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are
Shadows.
just single shots. They're not stacks or anything, right? Just a
there's-
click and then there you go, right? I
There's
think with a
lots.
little practice, I could probably get them quite a bit cleaner. But
Right. The youngest crater, the second youngest, and the oldest down here. So, because of the way they're formed.
oh,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this would be the earliest crater, and this would be the second earliest, and that's the third.
but look at the shadows
They're all
in the
flats.
craters.
Down
See
here.
the shadow on the walls?
Yeah, that's a great thing about right in here. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can really start to see and get a sense of how deep some of these craters are versus some of these other ones.
They're
Based on how deep and long the shadows are.
they're kilometers deep. Like you can't even imagine. It's like kilometers deep.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, then there you're captured.
Oh, yeah.
Like you mentioned. Hey, there you go.
Jupiter through a cell phone. Come on,
Yeah,
give me a
come
break,
on,
right?
Come on. Yeah.
You
Awesome,
know,
Paul.
there's the two bands, a little bit of the festoons,
Yeah.
and if I had to set it up, I might have been able. If I put a red filter on something, I might have been able to get a couple of the moons too. So
There you go.
You might even get one of the shadows. Yeah, if you had time to. do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's not highly technical, magazine worthy, but it's just
is.
fun to be able to get it right.
Perfect for Facebook. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you have any images, you can send them in to astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to put them up on our next broadcast, as we always love to do. So,
Yeah.
let's quickly look at what's coming up. This one as well. So, any of those who are on Facebook, if you wanted to reach out and join me under Atlantic Skies, I have this page up. Got about 120 or so members in there right now, so
Oh,
you're
awesome.
more than welcome to come over. And here you can post your night sky images here, and people can comment or whatever. Of course, any special events that are happening that are public related, you can post them there as well. And any stargazing activities that you saw, maybe you saw a fireball or something like that. Well, put that in there as well, so we can all
Yep.
comment. So, nice open group. So come on over and see us. All right, this week, not just this week, but all week for sure. Venus is our evening star. Now, you may be looking off to the western sky and see this really bright object in the sky after sunset. It's not a star at all. It's the planet Venus, and it is the third brightest object in our sky behind the sun and the moon. So, and like Paul showed there earlier, it has a very high albedo. So 70% of the light that hits Venus gets reflected back into space again. So that tells you that it's a very, very bright object. And this is the orbit of Venus right now, because the ecliptic takes a very steep angle at this time of year. So we can see that it's going to climb up here steadily, and each night it'll be setting just a few minutes later. I think right around now it's around 9:30 or so that it sets. But we're going to get to see it later and later. And it's actually going to be with us right until early September. So
Oh,
we've
nice.
got lots of time to enjoy Venus. And Venus too, as with Mercury, they do offer us phases just like the moon does. So if you see the moon as a crescent, you can see the Mercury and Venus as a crescent as well at certain times, depending on where it is, of course, in relation to the sun and our view. So watch out for Venus in the evening skies, and there'll be some really nice pairings coming up in June. There's a beautiful pairing with Venus and Jupiter, I believe. They're only almost together as an object. And the moon joins Venus every month as well, so so keep an eye out for that one. Uh, Tuesday, if you have a telescope, you might want to get out and take a look at this one. March the 31st, Io and its shadow transit Jupiter. So quite regularly now, the moons of Jupiter, the 4 Galilean moons, pass in front of Jupiter from our point of view. Sun's, of course, coming in on this angle here, and it casts a shadow of that moon onto the planet. So here's the times for it. The Io transit will start at 2034 and it ends at 2249. The shadow of it, though, starts at 2150 and ends at 2406, like the next morning. So these are always nice to catch if you can. There are some times when you can catch 2 shadows on it, which is pretty neat, but here's an opportunity for you for this one if you get clear skies. On Wednesday, of course, April 1st, the full pink moon. Now, the April moon is called the pink moon, not because it's color. It won't be pink, just like the blue moon is not a blue moon, but because it marks the early spring bloom of the phlox subulata. Okay, I'll agree. A wildflower native to North America known as moss pink or creeping phlox. It signifies the start of spring and is also known as the sprouting grass, the Binoculars, or birds laying eggs moon, or the fish moon. So we can catch that. Now sunset's going to be at 7:52. Moon rises at 7:45, so it rises just before sunset. So you're not going to get that real big contrast, level that we like to see when the moon's coming up a little bit later after sunset. But it'll still be nice on the horizon. Full moon at 11 p.m. Atlantic time. So remember this: full moon on April the 1st. And coincidentally, if everything works okay, this will be on the way to the moon. So Artemis 2.
Yes.
The launch time is, I think it's 7:45 Eastern time. To check on that, or 6:45 Eastern time. Artemis 2, with our 4 astronauts that are heading to the moon, not landing on the moon, but traveling out past the moon, testing out this new spacecraft with humans on board this time. It's already gone once, but now we're going to put humans on and see what it's like to actually to live inside this spacecraft for 10 days, I think, altogether. It's 4 days out, 4 days back, and a day around and a day in orbit. So what's going to happen? Well, we got these 4. These are our 4 astronauts. Here we have the commander, Reed Wiseman. The first person of color, Victor Glover, is going to be orbiting the moon. The first woman is going to be orbiting the moon, Christina Koch. And our guy here, Jeremy Hansen. Look at the patch on his arm. Yay! Big Canada patch there on his arm. So these are the 4 that are going to be going, and our contribution was because we have contributed a fair amount to the American space program with the Canadarm and other things that we were looking at, especially with the Lunar Gateway when they had announced the orbiting space station going around the moon. We were going to contribute a Canadarm and other things. Now that they've canceled the Gateway, we don't know what part we're going to have in the American program. So we were kind of guaranteed a seat out of every 4. We're going to get guaranteed 1. Whether we still be guaranteed or not, it's hard to say. But at least we'll have these 4 going out to the moon, and they're going to orbit the moon. Now, part of their mission is just basically to check out that Artemis spacecraft with the Orion capsule on top. And this is, of course, all just tossed into the sea, basically most of it. But the top piece, they're going to orbit the Earth a time or 2, and while they do that, they're going to practice docking, not actually docking, I guess, but getting close. So they'll be going to the moon similar to how we would have gone to the moon in the Apollo days with a capsule and a lander. They're simulating that, but is that how it's going to happen? I believe so, but the lunar landers aren't even built yet, and they're supposed to land next year. So we're really behind on all this, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, they're going to be going out around the moon, farther out from the moon than anybody has been before, which will be kind of neat.
That's based on that. There are 2 landers built, one by Lockheed, one by Grumman, but they gave the contract to SpaceX, who hasn't even started designing it.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos' Amazon is supposed to, Blue Origin, I think, is building one as well.
Yeah, but 2 of them are already built. Like, I don't understand it.
Okay, yeah. Well, and I did hear today that they're going to be seeing an eclipse, I guess, like the sun will be. So they were, yeah, because they were talking about the day that they launch, and they're getting together with the astronomers that are there at NASA and saying, okay, well, if we get canceled on this date, we're going to do this on this date, or we're going to do this on this day. So they have a schedule for each date that it might get canceled and moved ahead to.
Right.
So they may catch an eclipse apparently when they're
That would
passing
be cool.
behind. Now they are passing when it's going to be full moon for us too. So they get the
Yeah.
whole new moon side with this side. Uh, it'll be it won't it'll be the first time that anybody has seen the other side of the moon or the far side of the moon since 1972, right? So it's pretty exciting. I think they're going to have some. I'm sure you're going to have some live feeds coming in. We watch the guys on TV in a black and white television, right? Gathered around the living room, sitting around TV. These, the kids today are going to get to see it on YouTube, as a live feed, I'm sure, and hopefully live images out the window. So we'll see how that goes. So we're
Exciting
kind of looking
times.
forward. Yeah, kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Nice to see that we're getting back at least. Friday, April 3rd, Mercury's at its greatest western elongation. So what does that mean? Well, Mercury is in the morning sky, and it's the farthest west in the morning sky that it can appear. Now, the orbit is quite low because the ecliptic is low in the morning right now. Mercury rises at around 6:24. Sun rises around 7 a.m., so you're getting close. So maybe you'll get it. Kirk usually does get it every time that it's up. And it's fairly dim, so you might want to give it a try. But it's a challenge. But it's
If
a
you
good
live in
challenge.
St. John, a good spot to get it is from that golf course parking lot before the people come.
Right. Yeah.
You're up high on the hill, looking kind of downwards, so you get
Yeah.
a good clear view to the east.
Yep. Good point, Mike. Okay, coming up to the next 2 to 3 weeks is zodiacal light. The zodiacal light is the faint glow of diffused sunlight scattered by interplanetary dust. Zodiacal light contributes to the natural light of the sky, though since zodiacal light is very faint, it is often outshone and rendered invisible by the moonlight or light pollution. Now, for us, it will be the moon will be up the next week or so. In the mid latitudes, the zodiacal light is best observed in the western sky in the spring after the evening twilight has completely disappeared. So while historically attributed to debris from short period comets and asteroid collisions, recent NASA Juno findings suggest that dust escaping from Mars could be a major contributor to
Never know.
that. Yeah, cool. So that's possible. Get to a dark sky for that. This one I'm going to talk a little bit about just quickly. C2026A1, this is the comet that is the sun grazer. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't. It's heading in towards the sun. April 4th will be less than 162,000 kilometers, or less than 0.0057 AUs from the sun. So that's getting close.
Wow.
Mercury is 58 million kilometers away, and this is going to be 162,000. So it'll actually be in the sun's corona, basically, as it passes by.
I don't think it's going to make it back around.
Yeah. They usually don't, but if it does, it's going to be it'll be a brilliant show. Here's I get another map here from Sky and Telescope. So here's what we're thinking. If it does appear, this is the northern hemisphere. This is the southern hemisphere. So for us, dusk from April 5th to 12th. Venus is right here, so it'd be a good marker for you. And you might not get, if it does survive, you probably won't get the comet itself, but you might get the forward scattering of the tail. Right? So
Yeah.
that's possible. So just keep an eye out around from April the 4th on to see. You'll find out pretty quickly if it has survived anyway. SOHO is the telescope that looks like the sun has a big black disk in the center, and it can see comets coming into the sun and see whether or not they come out the other side. So we'll know on April the 4th.
We get another comet coming too, but I don't know if you'll see it from our sky, which is at C.
Yeah,
2025 R3.
Yeah, pan-stars. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's more of a southern hemisphere one. Oh no, actually,
Yeah.
actually, it's in it's not, Mike. It's in Pegasus. So it's
Well, I
Pegasus
just
right
looked
now.
at it in Stellaria when it's pretty low in the sky in the early morning.
Yeah, Pegasus comes up in the early morning before sunrise, so you might get it before sunrise. With Pegasus, it's to the west of Pegasus right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that one too. But that's another possibility. Yeah, we don't know about that one because it's at 160,000 year orbit or something. So
Yeah, its closest approach to the sun is on the 19th anyway.
okay, yeah. So
And
good time
then
to,
after that, I think April 26th is potentially a naked eye visibility, they're saying from,
right.
we'll see.
So
Keep our
we got
fingers
time.
crossed.
That's it.
Couple of
Okay.
comments.
Yeah. So other than that, we've got this calendar from Lisa. I should be getting a new one from Lisa pretty soon, I assume. This is her calendar that she puts out. Lisa's Look Up Astronomy and More. You can find her at first of all, here's your events listing. Here is the dates of the events, the peak time for her events, or the events that she chooses for the peak time, and what you need for seeing tools: naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. You can find Lisa at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Mastodon, Facebook, Threads, and now on Blue Sky. Thank you, Lisa. Waiting for your new calendar. I'm sure it'll come out soon. And our March-April calendar from Kurt Nason. So we're into up to the 18th here of April. So lots of time still on the calendar. So here's our week coming up. And no really mention about the full moon artist, but because we don't know when it's really going to take off. But these are the definite ones we can find. Moon near Spica on Thursday and such. So Mercury at greatest elongation on Friday. Anyway, you can find that calendar if you go to sjastronomy.ca. You can download that calendar right there. So I want to thank Kurt Nason for that. I'm going to stop sharing, guys. Bring this back over here. So there, that's what that's all about.
Lots going on.
Lots of stuff going on. Okay, and let me get our final thing up here. Okay, so, well, that's our show for tonight. Let me close this window over here. Too many monitors. Everybody up here. Okay. Okay. Anyway, well, let's go back to our closing.
I'm a little low on cash.
Low on something here. High on something else.
Stop making fun. There. Okay. All right. Well, in closing tonight, thank you once again for joining us, everybody. Good guys, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Special thanks again to Rosanna, of course, for her amazing fun facts. Thank you, Rosanna. They're really interesting. Remember, too, we do love getting your images, so send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We'll be happy to put them up on our next broadcast. So for now, then, from Mike and Paul and Rosanna and myself, we wish you all a safe and happy week, hoping you get some clear skies. As we like to say, guys, open your eyes, view the skies, and keep your scopes. Keep your scopes what? Pointed up.
Point it up.
Good night, everybody. Let me get our share screen here for you guys. And we'll go to our outro.